So good afternoon, class 12. First of all, I would like to inform you all must be knowing already that there has been no reduction in the syllabus as far as environmental science is concerned. The entire 10 chapters remain intact. So this is good news. Let's be positive. Let's try to learn and understand more, since when you go to your graduation level after this, you will have to study environmental science again. So it's better that you go with good concepts, right? So yesterday night, many of you sent me a message that I should explain chapter 6 Green Revolution concept once again. Although those of you who were doing environmental science in class 10, you all have a very good idea to Green Revolution and sustainable agriculture. But the children who have joined Rockville and you are doing the subject for the first time, let me try to explain. We are in chapter 6, okay? And then after this, we'll be starting chapter 7 and 8. That is the last section, that is section C. So, Green Revolution, the entire chapter I have already taught you, I have given you the notes also. So, since many of you have requested that you failed to understand many things, Green Revolution, this particular agricultural revolution began all over the world, and India basically went on to adopt this system of Green Revolution because we had suffered the Bengal Famine. So when you are writing the answer, you have to mention that India adopted Green Revolution because we had faced the Bengal Famine in the year 1943. Okay, and what had happened in Bengal alone, 4 million people had lost their lives. So after India gained independence after 4 years in 1947, that disaster still remained very fresh in the minds of the people. So since we needed food security in India, we wanted the food to become cheaper, India also went on to adopt Green Revolution. Now what is basically Green Revolution is, I have told you what we have done in colonial agriculture, pre-colonial agriculture and post-colonial agriculture. So Green Revolution is a part of post-colonial agriculture. Independent India, they went on to adapt this particular technique where we wanted to double and triple the production of food so that there would be no malnutrition, poverty and crisis of food. So basically, there are 3 things that you need to understand when we talk of Green Revolution. One is that we tried to expand the land under agriculture. Whatever land we had under agriculture, degraded land because of the Britishers, you all know what kind of crops they were growing. So we tried basically to expand the land under agriculture. Number 1, how did we expand the land under agriculture? It was by clearing off the forest areas, the grasslands and other natural ecosystems so that we would have more land for more production. This is number 1. Second, what we did is we started growing 2 crops in a year where we were only growing 1 crop. Now we started growing 2 crops. How was that possible? There is an objective question here, class. First crop was irrigated with the natural monsoon, that is the rainfall, and the second crop that we were growing, for that we had a concept of artificial monsoon. What is the meaning of artificial monsoon? I have explained to you in the notes. Artificial monsoon was the setting up of irrigational facilities. So we had to set up dams so that we could provide water to the second crop. So this is artificial monsoon. And the third thing that we did was, instead of growing the traditional seeds, we started growing high yielding variety seeds. So most of you know, I will not say all of you know, most of you know high yielding variety seeds. What is high yielding variety seeds? They are non-indigenous seeds, seeds which are not traditional, right? And how are high yielding variety seeds made? You take 4 or 5 crops, say you take 4 or 5 varieties of rice grains, and we try to extract the genes which give superior character to the plant, and those beneficial genes are extracted and we combine them through biotechnology into one plant, and that one particular plant has all the important characteristics. So definitely all the farmers started desiring high yielding variety seeds. So this is what we did in Green Revolution. We expanded the land, we started growing 2 crops, and we adopted the system of high yielding variety seeds. Now very important examination question is, when we adopted Green Revolution, what was the impact? Let's try to understand the impact. So when we say impact, it had definitely had positive impacts, but there were more of negative impacts of Green Revolution, right? Positive, very, very simple to understand. Green Revolution, what were the positive impacts of Green Revolution? Because of Green Revolution, we were able to double or triple the production of food. Where we were having 1 ton of food, we were able to make it 3 tons, 4 tons. So the production increased. So once the production increased, the food became much more cheaper. So there was no poverty, there was no malnutrition, there was no starvation. This was the good part about Green Revolution. Okay, all the people who were not able to afford to buy food, now because of Green Revolution, since the food had become cheaper, it was affordable by all. Now, examination question would definitely ask you the ecological impact of Green Revolution. Ecological impact meaning, because of this particular agricultural system, how did the environment get affected? Ecological, we mean how did our environment get affected because of Green Revolution? So it's a 5-mark question. Let's try to understand what were the ecological impact, important ecological impacts of Green Revolution. Please remember that when we started Green Revolution in India, we were growing only rice and wheat, the staple food for the Indians. Only rice and wheat were grown, and we did not grow pulses, right? So objective question here class, rice and wheat. I asked you in the examination also last time, rice and wheat are called soil degrading crops. They take away the nutrition, they require a lot of water to grow, they flood the land, they cause salinization. That is why they are called soil depleting crops, right? What we did not grow is pulses, leguminous plants, they were not grown. So what happened? Pulses are soil building crops. Okay, they improve the fertility of the soil. You all know how there is rhizobium bacteria in the roots of leguminous plants which bring the nitrogen to the soil. That was not grown, so the soil lost all its fertility. This is number 1, that we grew only rice and wheat and we did not grow pulses. This is one ecological disaster that started. Second was we were constructing dams because we had to artificially irrigate the second crop. So you all know what is the ecological harm of construction of dams. It moves the tectonic plates, right? It may cause earthquakes. A lot of environmental damage was there because of construction of dams. And then I was just discussing with you about HIV seeds. What happened because of adoption of high yielding variety seeds? We lost all the traditional variety of seeds that we had. Whatever traditional, the local varieties of seeds that we had, everything we lost because we were only dependent on high yielding variety seeds. Okay, so what was happening, I just told you 2 minutes back. What was happening when we were creating high yielding variety seeds is, there were 5 rice plants, we extracted the beneficial genetic characters from all the 5 and nobody were planting the 5. We were only planting the one that we had created, and in the process we lost the gene pool, right? What is the meaning of gene pool? The genetic diversity that existed, we lost that during the Green Revolution because of adoption of only and only high yielding variety seeds. Today the world realizes that it is very important to preserve the gene pool. So what have we created to preserve the gene pool? We have created gene banks. We'll come to that later. Next, important, when you have to write 5, please write these 5. The next is we were using fertilizers. We were definitely using chemical fertilizers in Green Revolution, and use of chemical fertilizers, they led to a process called eutrophication, which I have discussed with you in class 11 also. Eutrophication, that is the NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, when they are excess in the land, they go to the water bodies. There it causes algal bloom, which reduces the dissolved oxygen in the water bodies. That is eutrophication because of excessive use of chemical fertilizers. And the last one, we used pesticides, all chemical pesticides. DDT basically was used during Green Revolution, because of which one thing what happened is the pest became resistant. Even after the continuous application of pesticides, the pest wouldn't die. They became resistant. The second problem with pesticides were that we tried to kill the pest, the unwanted insects in the soil which were destroying the crop. But when we add poison to the soil, do you think only the pest will die? All the beneficial organisms, bees and butterflies and other insects, they also started dying because of the application of pesticides. And then the most dangerous phenomenon occurred, that is biomagnification. About this also I have told you earlier. Biomagnification, when we apply DDT in the soil, please remember it is non-degradable. It doesn't degrade, it remains for years and years. And slowly and gradually what started happening was these pesticides, the plants, roots of the plant, they started absorbing the pesticides. It went and got accumulated in the fruits of the plant, and those fruits were eaten by primary consumers and secondary consumers and tertiary consumers, you know the levels, and then ultimately everything landed up in our body, right? They entered our body and human beings started suffering from numerous problems like cancers and tumors. So when pesticides travel in the food chain, that is called biomagnification. So these are the ecological impacts of Green Revolution. This is the reason so much of the environment was degraded. This is the reason that today once again we have adopted sustainable agriculture. So in the next class I will cover up sustainable agriculture topic with you. Thank you.